Did you know that nearly half of all Japanese women in their 30s are still single? In a country that once placed marriage at the core of social stability, this shift is both dramatic and alarming. The number of women choosing to remain unmarried has surged in recent years, leaving many to wonder, why? Is it simply a matter of changing personal preferences, or is there something deeper at play? Some say it's because marriage in Japan has become a burden rather than a partnership. Others point to Japan's extreme work culture, which has made traditional family life nearly impossible. And then there are those who blame the men, suggesting that modern Japanese men have lost interest in relationships altogether. Whatever the cause, one thing is clear: more and more Japanese women are looking at marriage and saying no thanks. Marriage in Japan isn't what it used to be. For many generations, it was seen as the foundation of stability, both financially and socially. Women were expected to marry young, quit their jobs, and dedicate their lives entirely to their families. Even today, the idea of the good wife is deeply ingrained in Japanese society. A married woman is often expected to wake up early, prepare meals, keep the house in perfect condition, raise children with little to no help from her husband, and manage everything from household finances to social obligations. For women who watch their mothers and grandmothers dedicate their entire lives to their families while sacrificing their own dreams, the idea of marriage today is less of a fairy tale and more of a warning. Many have seen firsthand how exhausting and thankless the role of a traditional Japanese wife can be, and instead of following in their footsteps, they're choosing a different path, one that prioritizes their own freedom and ambitions. One of the biggest reasons women are avoiding marriage is simple career opportunities. Japanese workplaces still operate under a system that strongly favors men, particularly when it comes to career advancement. Many employers assume that once a woman gets married, she will eventually leave the company to start a family, so they stop considering her for leadership roles. The problem is even worse for women who actually want to balance work and marriage. Japan has some of the longest working hours in the world, and most companies provide little to no support for working mothers. Childcare services are not only expensive but also incredibly limited, forcing many women to either quit their jobs or spend years on waiting lists for daycare spots. For women who have spent years building a career, marriage often feels like a dead end. The idea of losing financial independence and being forced into a dependent role as a housewife is far less appealing than it was in previous generations. More and more Japanese women are realizing that if they want a fulfilling career and a stable income, staying single might be their best option. But even if a woman is willing to give up some of her independence for the sake of marriage, there's another major obstacle. Many Japanese men simply aren't interested. In recent years, Japan has seen the rise of what are known as herbivore men. These are men who have lost interest in relationships, dating, and even sex. Instead of pursuing romance, they focus on personal hobbies, gaming, anime, or simply prefer being alone. Some believe this shift is the result of Japan's demanding work culture, which leaves little time or energy for relationships. Others suggest that many men simply fear rejection or the financial burden that comes with marriage, and the numbers are shocking. Over 60% of unmarried Japanese men in their 30s have never had a girlfriend. That means even if a woman does want to get married, the pool of available, interested men is shrinking fast. There's another reason why Japanese women are avoiding marriage: the fear of divorce. While many countries have come to accept divorce as a normal part of life, Japan still carries a heavy stigma around it. A divorced woman is often seen as damaged or undesirable, and single mothers face extreme financial and social struggles. Many women worry that if they get married and things don't work out, they'll be trapped in a situation they can't escape. Since many women are still expected to quit their jobs after marriage, a divorce could leave them without financial security. The lack of government support for single mothers makes the situation even worse. Rather than take the risk of being stuck in an unhappy or even abusive marriage, many women are making the choice to stay single from the start. If marriage doesn't guarantee happiness, but does come with the risk of losing financial independence, why bother with it at all? For Japanese women, the decision to avoid marriage isn't just about avoiding burdens, it's also about embracing freedom. Unlike past generations, modern Japanese women have more opportunities than ever. They can travel, work, and build a life on their own terms. In fact, a growing number of women are embracing a trend called solo katsu, which means solo activities. This trend includes things like solo travel, dining alone, and even staying in special hotels that offer solo wedding experiences where women can dress in bridal gowns, have a photo shoot, and celebrate without ever having to actually get married. In previous generations, staying single was considered a failure, but today, many Japanese women see it as a path to happiness and self-fulfillment. Of course, this shift in attitudes towards marriage has created a new problem for Japan: its rapidly declining birth rate. Japan already has one of the lowest birth rates in the world, and the population is shrinking at an alarming rate. Experts predict that if trends continue, Japan could lose nearly a third of its population by 2065. The government has tried everything to encourage marriage and childbirth, from financial incentives for couples who have children to free matchmaking services. But nothing seems to be working. For many Japanese women, the freedom of being single is still more appealing than the traditional expectations that come with marriage and motherhood. So, why are Japanese women avoiding marriage? The answer is clear. For many, marriage in Japan is no longer seen as an opportunity, it's seen as a sacrifice. A sacrifice of career ambitions, personal freedom, and sometimes even happiness. The traditional expectations placed on married women haven't kept up with the realities of modern life, and until that changes, more and more women will continue choosing independence over marriage. So, what do you think? Is Japan's marriage crisis a warning for other countries, or is it simply a sign that times are changing? Let me know in the comments.